Greetings. Welcome back to my channel, Hemp Radio Test and Review. My name is Dave, and my call sign is November 8 Delta Alpha Victor. My name is in my call sign. Today, I'm going to be testing the Abbree Tri-Band Tactical Antenna Model AR-152A. This antenna is specified as being good on the 2-meter band, the 1.25 meter band, and on the 70 centimeter band. This antenna is 18.9 inches long, and it is a tape measure antenna that's got a rubberized coating and a plastic tip. It comes with an SMA female connector, is specified by the factory as being a 50 ohm impedance, and no SWR is specified, and also no maximum wattage is specified for this antenna. I will tell you that the base of the antenna screws on and extends the antenna out approximately 4 inches and adds to the length of the antenna. There is no specification for whether this is a quarter wave, half wave, or 5/8 wave antenna, and therefore there's also no specification as if it is resident on any of the frequencies. I bought this antenna for a whopping $8.99 on Amazon. Also, when I purchased the antenna, this was back in December of 2024. At that time, it was marketed as a tri-band antenna. Since that period of time, they have taken it off of Amazon. It is no longer for sale on Amazon, and they have remarketed the exact same antenna as a dual band antenna. There must be a reason for this, but maybe our testing will show something today. I don't know. But just so you know, don't go try looking for it as a tri-band antenna. You'll have to go out and look for it as a dual band antenna. One other quick note is that I also bought the same antenna, wasn't sure if it was exactly the same antenna or not, from TID Radio. Turns out TID Radio just remarkets the Abbree antennas, so I will test the TID Radio version. If I don't come up with a video for it, it's because it's the exact same antenna and I came up with the exact same results. So there's no sense in doing that. I will put a little thing at the end of this video to let you know whether it's exactly the same antenna or not, and it comes up with the exact same tests. So anyway, kick back and enjoy the testing, and we'll see what happens with the results at the end. I almost forgot. I want to show you the antenna. Now this is 18.9 inches long, let's just call it 19 inches, and it is a tape measure antenna, as you can see and hear. It does come with a piece of Velcro, so when you fold it in half, you can wrap it around this and keep it down. And it also comes with a little rubber grommet that you can put on the bottom. I highly recommend that you do that because this is a fairly heavy antenna for an HT. So it does put a strain on the connector that's on your radio. And so the little grommet, the little rubber gasket will help defer some of the pressure off of the connector and put it on the body of the radio. Also, the antenna comes in a fairly nice package. I mean, it's not the highest quality plastic or anything, but the corners are rounded and not square. It is a real Abbree, but unfortunately, Abbrees are so inexpensive that nobody is faking them these days. But as you can see, it is specified as a tri-band antenna, 144, 222, and 440. Anyway, let us continue on with our testing, and we'll see how everything comes out at the end. First up, we're going to test the Abbree Tri-Band 18.9 inch tactical antenna on the 2-meter national calling frequency. And we have an SWR of 1.53 and a wattage of 3.14. Next up, we are testing the antenna on the 70 centimeter national calling frequency. And we have an SWR of 1.76 and a power of 3.51 watts. Now we're going to test the antenna on the 1.25 meter band national calling frequency. We have an SWR of 2.43 and a power output of 4.23 watts. Last but not least, I always test antennas on the GMRS frequency, however, channel 16. However, just remember that these antennas are not designated as being good for GMRS. And I get an SWR of 1.51 and a power output of 2.42. Now we are testing the antenna on the 2-meter band using the NanoVNA antenna analyzer. Stop the sweep. And as you can see, we have an SWR of 2.388. At the low end of the band, we have 2.436 to 1, and at the high end of the band, we are at 2.287. Next up, we are going to test the antenna on the 70 centimeter band. Kind of an interesting resistance as well. And we're going to stop the scan. All right. So as you can see, we have an SWR of 2.082 at the high end of the band, 1.906 at the middle, and 1.536 down at the lower end. Next up, we're going to do an analysis on the 1.25 meter band. Okay, here's our results. At the high end of the band, we have an SWR of 2.614. At the middle of the band, we have an SWR of 2.607. And at the low end, 2.567. Last but not least, we always test on the GMRS band. Just remember, this antenna is not specified as being good on the GMRS frequencies. All right, here's our results. At the low end of the band, we are at 2.094. High end, or in the center of the band, 2.081. The high end of the band, 2.170. I'm sorry, 2.170. Now we're going to perform a field strength test on all 4 bands, and this will give you an idea of how much power or how strong the signal is from transmitting from the antenna. At the end of the video, I'll compare the results of this antenna with all the other antennas I've tested, and we'll get an idea of how well it compares. The first test is on the 2-meter band. Next is the field strength test on the 70 centimeter band. Next is the test on the 1.25 meter band. And last but not least, the field strength test on channel 16 of the GMRS band. Okay, I'm out here at Pioneer Park. This is my favorite place to come to test HT antennas. I'm about 4 miles from my base station. I live up in the mountains, so there's lots of hills, there's lots of buildings, power lines, and a power station between me and my home base. So when you take all that into consideration, I don't have a lot of flat area around here to test maximum distance. So I have found that standard rubber duck antennas don't make it, or just barely make it to my base station. So this is a good test for an antenna, an HT antenna. If it comes in
and it's good quieting, I rate that very highly. If it comes in with lots of static, I rate that not so good. And then, of course, everything in between. So let me get set up here, and I'll get the testing. Okay, I'm ready to test my Abbree AR152A antenna using my Baofeng UV17 Pro GPS. This is a test. This is a test. This is a test of the Abbree Tactical AR152A antenna. This is only a test. N8DAV. This is a test. This is a test of the Abbree Tactical AR152A antenna. This is only a test. N8DAV. Okay, there you go. I was able to get to the base station. It was able to record me and repeat back. As you could hear, there was some static. It's not a lot of static, but it was a little bit more than I would expect from an antenna like this. You know, that's just how it goes. This is how these antennas get tested. So let me get set up for the 1.25 meter test to a repeater that's local to me. Okay, there's a repeater up on Mingus Mountain. It's on the 1.25 megahertz band. And I am about 25 miles from there. It's line of sight as the crow flies. I can see the mountain from here. And I'm going to try and hit it with the HT antenna, and we'll see how well it works. Maybe I can even get a radio check. Radio check? Radio check. This is N8DAV. I'm looking for a radio check. I'm testing the Abbree Tactical AR152 HT antenna. Can I get a radio check, please? Okay. Don't think anybody heard me. This is not a very well listened to repeater. It's used very little. So I'm not sure anybody was out there to actually hear me. However, I did hit the repeater, and it was very quiet. So I'm assuming that it was getting out there pretty good. So let me get back to my base, and I will sum up everything that we've learned from all the testing and everything that we've learned. Talk to you later.
So what did we learn today from all the results from all the tests that we performed today? Well, let's go over some of these things. On the SWR, we got good SWR around 1.5 to 1 on 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and the GMRS. But on the 1.25 meter, we got over 2. As far as the antenna analyzer, we got similar results. The antenna analyzer was a little bit higher out of the acceptable range on the 1.25 meter band. So, you know, yeah, it's up there, but it's within the acceptable range. The field strength tests were actually rather good. The transmission from this antenna is strong, and it's pretty much up there with some of the best antennas like the Nagoya and the Radtel antennas that I've tested, as far as tri-band antennas are concerned. So we're looking actually pretty good as far as that's concerned. But in the actual field test where I did an actual test to my base station, we had a little bit of static there. So not quite as good as the Nagoya and the Radtel, but at the same time, pretty close to being up there. Now, did it perform as well as its big brother, the 42.5-inch tactical antenna from Abbree? No, that antenna did very, very well. So, you know, but for the price of $8.99, this might be a good choice for you. But just remember, these antennas are made from steel, a lot of steel. These measuring tapes are not light. And it's a little bit wieldy, not like its 42.5-inch big brother, but still. So if you're not going to be mobile and running around with the thing, it might be a good choice for you. It's not as long and as hard to deal with as its big brother. So anyway, for the price, I would say it's a good buy, but just be aware that it's not a very portable antenna like, well, like what an HT is supposed to be. It's supposed to be portable. So anyway, that's all I have to say. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. If you have any requests for any different types of antennas or HTs, I do have the TID Radio H3 Plus coming. I don't know when it's going to be here, but I will be doing a reveal of that radio once I get it. It has a lot of new features that the regular TD-H3 does not. So anyway, this is Dave. My call sign is N8DAV. I'm from Prescott, Arizona, and I'm saying 73 so long.